Have you ever wondered why, despite working hard every single day, chasing the so-called American dream, you still feel trapped in the cycle of debt, bills, and a job that never really sets you free? Over 100 years ago, Wallace D. Wattles revealed a shocking truth. Getting rich isn't about luck, and it isn't a privilege reserved for a few. It's a science, and anyone can learn it. His book, The Science of Getting Rich, shows us that wealth begins in the way you think, in your ability to envision and truly believe in a prosperous life before it actually happens. This isn't just about blind positive thinking. It's a scientific principle of thought, belief, and action. If you follow it correctly, wealth is inevitable. In this video, we're going to uncover the most powerful principles from this timeless classic, and more importantly, how you can apply them to your own life today, right here in America in 2025, a land full of opportunities, but also full of distractions that lead many people astray. And before we dive in, if you want to keep receiving valuable audiobook summaries like this one, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell, because this just might be the moment that changes how you think about money, wealth, and your future. Part 1. Getting rich is a science, not a matter of chance. Wallace D. Wattles begins with a bold declaration. Getting rich is a science. It follows definite laws, just as exact as mathematics, and anyone who applies a certain way can achieve wealth. He calls it the inborn right of every person, the right to be rich in order to live more spiritually, mentally, and physically. According to Wattles, wealth is not determined by background, circumstances, or luck. It comes from thinking and acting in a consistent order. First, creating a clear mental picture of what you want. Second, believing completely in your ability to achieve it. And finally, taking purposeful action every single day. He makes a sharp distinction between the creative plane and the competitive plane. If you believe the world is scarce and you must fight for someone else's share, you'll stay stuck in lack. But if you move to the creative plane, focusing on producing new value and serving more people, you activate the very laws that bring wealth flowing toward you. This science isn't mystical or vague. It's a clear chain of cause and effect. First, you must form an orderly thought. Then, you must nurture feelings of faith and gratitude to keep that thought alive. After that, you must take effective action in the present, with the resources you already have, instead of waiting for perfect conditions. Put together, over time, these steps inevitably lead to wealth. Wattles emphasizes, your mental picture must be clear, not just a vague wish. Your faith must be persistent, not shaken by obstacles. And your actions must be immediate and excellent, right where you are, not postponed for someday. To put this idea in today's America, imagine an immigrant mother in California working night shifts at a laundromat. Instead of vaguely wishing for a better life, she spends 30 minutes every day sketching out a clear vision of owning a home cleaning service package, writing down revenue goals, her first few clients, and the neighborhood she'll serve. Then, she uses her spare time to take small cleaning jobs, collects reviews, and once she builds a base of loyal customers, she registers a small business. There's no magic here, just a clear mental picture guiding a chain of right actions. Or think about a nurse in Ohio. Exhausted from rotating shifts, she decides to use her expertise to create passive income. She designs NCLEX prep materials, records short video lessons, and shares one clinical tip daily. After 3 months, she launches her own study package to the very audience that has been following her content. The takeaway from this part is straightforward. Wealth is not a game of luck, nor a privilege reserved for the few. It is the inevitable result of a formula: clear mental vision, unwavering belief, and excellent action in the present.
The moment you stop waiting for the perfect opportunity and begin applying the certain way today, you shift from living passively to creating actively. And at that very moment, wealth starts moving toward you.
Part 2. Thinking in a certain way. Wallace Wattles insists that the key to wealth begins with the way you think. Not the vague, I want to be rich kind of thinking, but an orderly mental state he calls the certain way. This means you must form a precise picture of what you want and nurture a clear mental image of the life you desire. And it can't stop at mere wishing. You have to keep that vision alive every single day, despite setbacks, doubts, or the voices around you telling you it's impossible. Wattles emphasizes that the outer world is nothing more than a reflection of your inner state of thought. If you constantly plant seeds of confusion and disbelief, you'll harvest only chaos and scarcity. But if you sow creative, steady, and grateful thoughts, your actions and results will begin to align, and wealth will follow. He highlights two foundational forces that keep your thoughts in order: faith and gratitude. Faith keeps you standing firm even when there's no evidence yet. Gratitude sustains your energy, broadens your perspective, and makes you magnetic in the eyes of others. When you're grateful for what you already have, envy and lack can't consume you. Instead, you reinforce your belief that you are on the right path and that the universe is working with you. To see this principle in action, look at Jim Carrey's story. As a young, broke actor who once slept in his car, Carrey wrote himself a mock check for $10 million dated Thanksgiving 1995. He carried it in his wallet, imagining daily that he was worthy of that sum through his talent and effort. The remarkable twist, in 1994, just 1 year before his deadline, Carrey landed Dumb and Dumber, earning him exactly $10 million. That's not just a Hollywood fairy tale, it's a real-life demonstration of the certain way. Hold a clear vision, act persistently, and let faith guide you. Another example is Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty in rural Mississippi, Oprah had every reason to accept a small life, but she chose differently. Each day, she nurtured the thought that she was meant to positively impact millions. Oprah once said, "You become what you believe, not what you wish for." That belief carried her from a local radio host to becoming the first Black woman billionaire in America. Oprah's story is living proof of Wattles' philosophy, thinking not vaguely, but specifically, creatively, and always grounded in gratitude. And more recently, consider Sarah Blakely, founder of Spanx. Before becoming a billionaire, Sarah went door to door trying to sell her first prototypes of slimming undergarments. But instead of seeing herself as just another small-time saleswoman, she envisioned herself transforming the fashion industry. She once shared that every morning she would look in the mirror and repeat, "I'm going to make Spanx a global brand." For 7 years, she took no outside investment, just her faith and her clear vision to keep her going. The result? Spanx grew into an international sensation, and Sarah Blakely became the youngest self-made female billionaire in America. The message here is powerful. If you want wealth, you must learn to think in the certain way: clear, creative, grounded in faith and gratitude. Jim Carrey, Oprah, Sarah Blakely, they didn't wait for miracles from the outside. They created their own miracles by holding a mental image and acting to make it real. As Wattles teaches, the outer world is only a reflection of your inner world. If your thoughts are scattered, doubtful, or rooted in lack, your results will mirror that. But when your thoughts become clear, ordered, and filled with belief and gratitude, your actions change, and eventually, so does your life.
Part 3. Shifting from competition to creation. One of the most powerful lessons in the science of getting rich is Wattles' call to step away from a competitive mindset
He argues that wealth doesn't come from fighting, comparing, or defeating others. It comes from creating new value. When you compete, you believe resources are limited, that for you to win, someone else must lose. But when you create, you expand the pie. You bring value to more people, and that value inevitably flows back to you in the form of money and opportunities. Take Jeff Bezos and the story of Amazon. If Bezos had only focused on competing with traditional bookstores, Amazon might not exist today. Instead of asking, "How do I beat Barnes & Noble?" he asked, "How can customers buy books more easily than ever before?" That single creative question opened the door to an entirely new model of e-commerce, far bigger than simply undercutting local bookstores on price. Bezos didn't take someone else's slice of the pie. He baked a whole new one for the entire world. Or look at Elon Musk with Tesla. The auto industry was already crowded with giants like Ford, GM, and Toyota dominating for over a century. If Musk had tried to fight them with cheaper cars or more ads, Tesla would have been crushed. Instead, he created something new, a high-performance, beautiful electric car that made drivers feel proud because they were helping save the planet. That creative vision didn't just sell cars, it sparked a worldwide movement toward electric vehicles. Even Airbnb started with this same mindset. Instead of competing with hotels by lowering prices or adding amenities, Brian Chesky and Joe Gebbia asked, what if a regular home could become a place for travelers to stay? They weren't stealing customers from Hilton or Marriott. They created an entirely new market for travel and hospitality. The result? Airbnb transformed the way the whole world experiences lodging. Wattles' message couldn't be clearer. If you stay stuck in competition, you're playing in a small, limited box. But when you shift to creation, you step outside that box. You build new markets, new opportunities, and wealth flows toward you without needing to take it from anyone else. Remember, the world doesn't reward those who fight over scraps. It rewards those who dare to create value that didn't exist before.
Part 4. Faith and Gratitude. Wallace Wattles emphasizes that wealth doesn't just come from thought and action. It rests on two foundational forces: faith and gratitude. He believed that when you hold an unshakable faith that wealth is your natural right and that the universe will respond if you act in a certain way, you unlock a tremendous source of mental power. Faith transforms ordinary actions into confident, decisive ones. Gratitude keeps your mind aligned with abundance instead of fear and scarcity. If you act while doubting, constantly asking, "What if I fail?" you're planting the seeds of failure. But when you act with faith, you move with clarity and conviction, inspiring others to believe in you as well. Gratitude, meanwhile, anchors you. It prevents you from falling into the traps of comparison and envy. A grateful person focuses on what they already have, and in doing so, naturally attracts more good things into their life. Consider Oprah Winfrey. Born into poverty and scarred by a traumatic childhood, she could have let those circumstances define her. Instead, she nurtured the belief that she could change her destiny. Throughout her career, Oprah has spoken often about the power of gratitude. She even kept a daily gratitude journal. That simple practice not only helped her build a multi-billion-dollar media empire, but also turned her into one of the most inspiring figures in America. Or take Howard Schultz, the founder of Starbucks. Growing up in a poor housing complex in Brooklyn, his family never had health insurance. But rather than living in resentment, Schultz held on to a belief that he could create a company that sold not only coffee, but also treated its employees with dignity. His gratitude for the hardships of his childhood became fuel for building Starbucks into a global empire, one known for offering benefits to workers that far surpassed industry norms. Even in the tech startup world, you see gratitude woven into success stories. Tony Hsieh, the late CEO of Zappos,
often said that gratitude and faith in employee happiness were the very forces that turned Zappos into a billion-dollar company. To him, if you plant gratitude and happiness into your culture, financial success naturally follows. Wattles' message here is simple but deeply powerful. Believe without a shadow of a doubt that you are worthy of wealth, and always stay grateful for what you already have. Faith pulls you forward. Gratitude keeps you grounded. Together, they make you magnetic to wealth and opportunity, as if the universe itself is working with you, not against you. Part 5. Take immediate action. Wallace Wattles stresses that thought and belief only have real value when they're transformed into immediate action. He calls this principle acting in the certain way. The idea is simple. Every opportunity you have today, every task you're working on right now, must be done with full focus, full commitment, and the faith that it is the right step moving you closer to wealth. Many people don't fail because they lack ideas or dreams. They fail because they delay, waiting for the perfect moment to begin. But in reality, there is no perfect moment. Wattles writes, "You do not have to wait until you have everything before you start. Begin right where you are, with what you have. It is action taken right now that activates change." Take Jeff Bezos as an example. In 1994, when he had the idea of selling books online, e-commerce barely existed. The internet was in its infancy, infrastructure was weak, and most Americans doubted buying anything online. But Bezos didn't wait. He quit a stable Wall Street job and started selling books out of his garage. That immediate step became the seed of Amazon, now one of the largest companies in the world. Or think of Sarah Blakely, the founder of Spanx. She had just $5,000 in savings and an idea for a new kind of shaping hosiery. Instead of waiting for the perfect product or investor, she went straight to manufacturers, tested the product on herself, and knocked on the doors of small boutiques to introduce it. That decisive action turned Spanx into a billion-dollar brand and made Blakely the youngest self-made female billionaire in America. Even on a smaller scale, you can see this principle every day in ordinary American lives. People who start a food truck, a nail salon, or an Etsy shop don't wait until they've raised huge capital or until the economy looks perfect. They start right where they are, with what they have. And those immediate actions open the door to growth. Wattles' message here is crystal clear. Don't let your ideas stay trapped on paper. Don't wait until you feel perfectly ready. Begin now with what's in your hands and act with the faith that every small step you take today is laying the foundation for tomorrow's wealth.
Part 6. The Path to Lasting Wealth. One of the most important ideas Wallace Wattles emphasizes in The Science of Getting Rich is this: true wealth doesn't come from taking or competing with others. It comes from creating value for the world. He rejects the belief that resources are limited and that if one person becomes rich, another must become poor. On the contrary, Wattles argues that lasting wealth is only possible when you participate in creation, not destructive competition. He calls this living on the creative plane. This means focusing on how to generate new value, how to improve people's lives, and allowing wealth to flow as a natural reward. While many people spend their entire lives trapped on what he calls the competitive plane, fighting to sell cheaper, to grab more than others, he insists that only by shifting to creativity can wealth truly be sustainable in long term. You can see this clearly in modern examples. Take Elon Musk and Tesla. When Musk entered the auto industry, he wasn't simply trying to steal market share from Ford or GM. He created new value, high-performance, environmentally friendly electric cars. Instead of fighting for a slice of the existing pie, he made the pie bigger. As a result, Tesla became a company worth hundreds of billions of dollars while reshaping the entire American auto industry. Another example is Howard Schultz with Starbucks.
Before Starbucks was everywhere, Americans often saw coffee as just a cheap, quick pick-me-up. Schultz painted a third place, a space outside of home and work, turning coffee into an experience and a lifestyle. He didn't just take customers from Dunkin' or McDonald's, he opened up a whole new segment, adding value for consumers. Even in small businesses, the principle still holds true. A local bakery thrives not by undercutting prices, but by creating unique flavors, warm experiences, and a sense of community that keeps customers coming back. That creativity builds real value, and sustainable profit naturally follows. Wattles' ultimate message is simple but powerful. Real wealth comes from the value you bring to others. The more people you serve, the more you will receive in return. When you live and work from a place of creativity, you not only build prosperity for yourself, but also expand opportunities for others. And that is the true path to lasting wealth. The science of getting rich reminds us that wealth is not just about money. It's about how you think, what you believe, and the value you create for the world. When you live on the creative plane instead of the competitive one, wealth flows as a natural consequence. If this summary inspired you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss the next audiobook summary. Remember, wealth isn't a destination, it's a journey, and that journey begins with the way you think today.